My name is Amanda Weinmiller, and I will be discussing the elderly and disaster. To begin, I would like to know what you would tell your grandparents to do in a disaster. Stay or leave, and have you considered the risks involved? If you answered the question by saying you would tell your grandparents to stay put, think about what happened at the Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills this year when 14 people died uh, after losing air conditioning when the power went out. This prompted our Governor, Rick Scott of Florida, to issue emergency rules saying that nursing homes and assisted living facilities had to have emergency power to keep facilities at 80 degrees or below for at least 4 days. This would be mitigation. This woman was in tears when the store ran out of generators ahead of Hurricane Irma. Her elderly father was on oxygen, and she needed to make sure she had power. Luckily, this man came to her rescue and gave her his generator that he waited in line for as well. Now, if you answered your grandparents would simply come stay with you, have you thought about whether or not you're prepared for an additional person, especially one with medical needs? Maybe you answered by saying you would tell your grandparents to leave. Then think back to Hurricane Rita in 2005 when 2.5 million people clogged up the roads, causing some of the worst traffic in history. Rita only ended up directly causing 10 deaths, but additional 31 people died during the evacuation process. And 24 of those people were nursing home residents that were on a bus evacuating when it exploded. Please remember, it's not just the elderly in America who are more vulnerable, and they're not just vulnerable to hurricanes. Think about what you would save if your house was going down into a 50-foot deep sinkhole. Maybe pictures, memorabilia, your pets. How about your prescription medication? That's exactly what the case of what happened in Land O'Lakes when a sheriff's deputy evacuated an elderly woman and then had to go back for her prescriptions. The sinkhole is still in the recovery phase. According to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, older adults are more vulnerable to disasters because of their impaired physical mobility, diminished sensory awareness, chronic health conditions, or social and economic limitations. FEMA recommends the elderly prepare for disaster by making a kit, planning ahead, and staying informed. According to FEMA, this is what the emergency kit should entail: water, food, blankets, first aid kit, of course, some other essentials like batteries and extra pair of glasses, hearing aid, batteries, and any other medical devices the elderly may need. FEMA also suggests the elderly talk to their family and friends and prepare for the emergency or disaster, create a network with their neighbors, relatives, friends, and coworkers, discuss their needs and include any medical equipment or other needs that they may have, and arrange electronic payment of benefits or retirement income. Florida offers several resources for their elderly in case of a disaster, beginning with medications being refilled ahead of time, special needs shelters, a bi-monthly publication, and even a helpline. I believe the elderly in disaster is especially relevant to us so that we know how to help our grandparents, our neighbors, our aunts and uncles, or any other elderly people that we love in our lives. And also because if we all make it to that age, we'll have our limitations and now we know what to do.